So, we're starting this new series, which I think is going to be called Tofu's Tales, where I basically just tell stories about things that actually happened to me in my life that were either kind of funny or weird or, you know, something like that. Anyway, we're going to start this off with one of the weirdest times I've ever experienced when I was working for a ride sharing service, which will remain nameless. So I used to do this job where I was a product ambassador, was what they said, but really I was just a salesman. I would go into like places like Kroger, or Sam's Club, stuff like that, and I'd have to sit at a booth and try to sell people these pillows or fudge or whatever they had that week. Mostly it was pillows. Now that job didn't pay very well because it was like minimum wage, but if you sold over a certain amount, you got commission, but they never gave you the commission because they always found a way to not to give it to you. Anyway, shitty job. So I was like, I got to do something on the side here. So what I decided to do on the side was ride sharing service. And I was, I was like, I'm already down here because I had to work in Nashville and I don't live in Nashville. I live about an hour away. I was like, I'm already down here. There's going to be a lot of people that need rides, especially on the nights that I work, going to bars, going to whatever. So I started doing it. The first ride was kind of weird, but like, it was okay. But the ride that I'm going to talk about is the weirdest ride I've ever had to give somebody. And I'm not even sure if what happened was fully legal, to be honest. So I get done with my other job, and I turn on my app. I get ready to start doing jobs. I do a couple of, small ones around the city that start getting me further and further outside the city. Because usually you just kind of follow how it goes, and whenever you drop someone off, if there's another ride close by, you just go straight to it. Anyway, I'm get a new ride. I'm like, okay, cool. I ride out, and it's like the middle of nowhere. This is like a rural area, but like a rich people rural area, so they have nice houses. Um, so I drive up to this lady's house. I'm like, okay, cool. There's this party letting out or something. There's all these cars leaving, and these adults with their kids. So I guess it was like a kids kind of slumber party that didn't go all the way night, and the adults were there. Anyway, I'm not sure who I'm picking up. They all leave. The lady finally comes out with her kid. She's got her kid with her in his little Marvel pajamas or something. And they walk up and they're like, okay, blah blah blah. Let's go. They get in the car. The lady's in the back seat with her kid, and she goes, "Hey, is it all right if I have this drink with me?" And she has like a cocktail in her hand. So I guess like this party was like they were all drinking cocktails while their kids played in their pajamas that were like also kind of like costumes. It was weird. The whole situation was already weird, but it gets weirder. So I'm like, yeah, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, you're in the back seat, and this is this is Tennessee, which it's legal to drink if you're not driving. You can be in the passenger seat or the back seat and drink. Anyway, I'm like, yeah, no problem. It's cool. Where are we going? Because like the thing was like a weird address that wasn't actually an address. It was like a part of a street. And she goes, oh, I'll direct you. And I was like, okay, whatever. So we start driving out there. We're in the middle of fucking nowhere. I swear to God, they're both in the back seat. And it's really late at night. It's dark. We're just driving around, and she's like kind of going that way, go that way, go that way. I'm like, okay. We get to this house that's like up on a hill away. Like you have to walk up the driveway or go up the driveway to get there. And I'm about to turn in. She goes, don't turn in. And I'm like, what do you mean don't turn in? She goes, just don't turn in. I'm like, okay, all right. I won't turn in. I stop on the road, and this is like a rural road. There's no sidewalks. There's no street lamps. She's like, okay, I'm going to get out, go up there. I want you to drive down the road and back. Like go up the road a little bit, turn around and come back. And pick me up. And I was like, all right, that's weird, but sure, whatever. And she gets out and walks up, and it's only then that I realized her kid is still in the back seat, passed out. So I'm driving my car with someone else's kid in my back seat. I don't even know. She doesn't know me. And she just left her kid in the back seat of this ride-sharing service. And I'm like, obviously I can't leave this now because I have her kid. I thought about just ditching the ride and getting out of there, but I couldn't. I had her child with me. So I ride up the road. I kind of wiggle around a little bit. I give her some time. I don't know. She told me like 10 minutes or so, and I was like, all right, cool. Maybe it was like 10 minutes or maybe 15, somewhere in the middle of there that I rode around for. I turn around. I come back around to the same spot. She's a little bit late. She's walking down, like kind of rushing, not like running, but like rushing, like quick walking. She jumps in the back seat and she goes, go, go. And I was like, oh, okay. So I take off, and I'm just so confused. I have no idea what just happened. I have no idea what I was just a party to, right? And I kind of go, what was that all about? And she goes, oh, it's nothing. I was just returning something to someone. I was like, okay, believable. Sure, why not? The only problem I had later was that when I was taking her back to her house, she goes to me, she goes, hey, so there's not going to be like a record of this, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, I just don't want my husband to see where I went. And I was like, I don't think there's a record, but you'd have to call the people that I work for. I'm not sure. I don't think so, though. And she goes, okay, all right, that's fine. And that's what led me to believe, I'm pretty sure I just aided in like this lady having an affair or something to do with that type of thing, And she's like this rich lady living in, the middle of nowhere in a nice house, and her husband's not around this late at night, so I'm guessing he makes the money, you know what I mean? And this whole thing, I'm just like, this is strange, this is weird. The worst part about the whole situation, though, was that during the ride, because we're out in the boonies, my internet kept going out, which means two things. One, I kept losing my GPS. Two, because I lost my GPS, the ride-sharing service software couldn't track how far we went or, where we went in most of the places, so I couldn't get paid for the full ride because it didn't know what was going on. So I'm like, oh man, I talked to her about that kind of on the way back, and she goes, oh, don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay. As she gets out, she turns around and hands me like I don't know, it was like $40. And I was like, oh, it's paid by the app. And she goes, no, this is, for you. And just looks at me with this look, like, kind of like, it's for you. So I'm like, this is fucking hush money. I have no idea what just happened. Normally I would have continued going on rides that night, but I was just like, you know what? I'm done tonight. This has sapped me of all desire to keep doing this job at all. I think I continued doing it for another couple months while I did the other job. But as soon as I got another job, I quit. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. That was too much. That lady ruined me for ride-sharing services. I don't even like to take them now. So, I guess the moral of the story is, there is no moral to the story. It's just weird. It was just a weird fucking story. I don't know what to tell you. Just be careful, and don't let random ladies who are drinking alcohol in the back of your ride-sharing service leave their kids in your car for 10 to 15 minutes while they go and do something you not exactly sure what they did. I guess that's the moral. And, if there was a takeaway, that would be it. Anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this beginning of Tofu's Tales, which are going to be kind of, like I said, these stories. I'm not really editing them out much. I'm not pausing and recording a new section too often. So this is all just kind of word vomit as it comes out, as the story is told. Like I said, I hope you enjoy it. If you did, leave a like and let me know, what was your favorite part of the story, or if you want me to continue telling these stories. I'm thinking about doing maybe first video every month, getting one of these out there, and if you like it, I'll keep doing it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Have a good day, and make it a great day for somebody else. Peace. The ops do the dash to the airport, looking for my passport. Ayy, straight to a sucker, what I asked for.